It's by concrete pilots.
I learned about MK Ultra in about 1994, 1995. I'll give you a little bit of, just in case you don't know. MK Ultra was a covert CIA project that officially began on April 13th in 1953. It was authorized by then CIA Director Alan Dulles and involved unethical experiments on human subjects to develop methods of mind control, often without the subject's consent. The program continued through the 1950s and into the 1960s, but was officially halted in 1973, conveniently around the time of the Watergate scandal, when records were ordered destroyed. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a sample about it. The scandal fully came to light in 1975 when the Churchill Committee and later the Rockefeller Commission investigated U.S. intelligence abuse, including MKUltra. By 1951 and 1952, the CIA started acquiring LSD and testing it on various subjects, including their own employees, military personnel. They ran operations like Project Midnight Climax, where prostitutes on the CIA payroll would lure men to CIA safe houses in San Francisco and New York. So San Francisco and New York were the two places they did this at, or that they revealed to people. They dosed them with LSD while the CIA agents watched behind two-way mirrors. So if San Francisco and New York were two places, why not Texas? Why not Oklahoma? Why not any other state? Did they have bigger ones? Did they have bigger projects in more unregulated states? For example, Texas. Could they have ramped up projects to whole parts of towns? Who's to say that these projects didn't happen in places like Austin and San Antonio and on much larger scales? What was the goal of it? And if it was, who was the overseer of that? Could they have just flooded whole neighborhoods with so much LSD just to see what would happen? If you flooded a whole side of a town of a city with large amounts of super potent LSD at a very, very low cost just to see what happens, could that have happened?
Okay, so where do we start? The basics.
Let's do it. MKUltra officially kicked off April 13th, 1953. That was under the CIA director at the time, Alan Dulles.
And the core mission essentially was to develop methods for mind control. That was the stated aim anyway.
Which sounds like something out of a spy movie, but this was real. And the way they went about it.
That's the crucial part. It involved experiments, often on people who had no idea what was happening. No consent.
Right. Not exactly standard ethical procedure, even for back then, you'd hope. It raises huge questions about how things operated.
Definitely. So this ran through the 50s into the 60s. The official story is that it was stopped around 1973.
And that timing is
Yeah.
interesting. Right around Watergate.
Mm-hmm. And apparently a lot of the records were destroyed around then, too. Very convenient, some might say.
Or maybe strategically timed. We don't really know for sure. The whole thing really blew up publicly later in 75.
Yeah, that's when the Church Committee and the Rockefeller Commission started digging into it. That's when the public started to learn what had been going on.
So the transcript we're using, it touches on the early days, especially the fascination with LSD.
Right. It seems even by 51, 52, before MKUltra officially began, the CIA was already getting its hands on LSD.
And testing it. On who?
Well, all sorts of people. Their own agents, military personnel. It seems they were casting a wide net, trying to figure out what this stuff could do.
It really shows how focused they were on finding some kind of, I don't know, silver bullet for mind control.
It seems that way. Which leads us to one of the most infamous parts of this, Operation Midnight Climax.
Yeah, the name itself is something else. The source material describes this operation in San Francisco and New York.
And it involved CIA-funded prostitutes luring men back to CIA safe houses.
Safe houses equipped with two-way mirrors.
Exactly. And once these men were there, they were given LSD, often without knowing it.
While agents watched from behind the mirrors. observing the effects.
It's incredibly disturbing, a complete violation of autonomy, basic trust.
Absolutely. So the source confirms San Francisco and New York, but then the presenter starts asking some good questions.
Like, why only those two cities? Was that really it?
Yeah, they float the idea. Could there have been similar, maybe less official operations elsewhere? They specifically mentioned Texas, Austin, San Antonio.
Which opens up a whole can of worms, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or were these just limited test cases, or was the program maybe much wider, less documented?
And it gets even wilder. The presenter throws out this hypothetical. What if they tried something bigger?
Bigger how?
Like, could you flood an entire neighborhood with low-cost LSD to see what happens on a mass scale?
Wow, okay, that's a pretty chilling thought. The logistics, the ethics.
Right. It's pure speculation from the source, of course,
Yeah.
but it forces you to think about the potential scale. What were the ultimate goals? And crucially, was there any real oversight?
It pushes the boundaries of what you think is possible or what might have been considered acceptable in those secret circles.
So let's just quickly recap. MK Ultra, definitely real, definitely unethical CIA mind control program.
Yep. Used LSD, involved operations like Midnight Climax in at least San Francisco and New York.
But as the source highlights the full picture, how far it really went, whether it spread to other places, other scales, that's still very much up in the air. Lots of unanswered questions.
Which leaves us, and you, with something to think about, if we know what happened in those documented cases.
And we consider these questions about other locations, maybe even larger scales.
What does that suggest about how far government agencies might be willing to go in secret? And maybe more importantly, how do you even ensure effective oversight to prevent things like this from happening again?
It's a lot to chew on. Definitely makes you think about transparency and accountability.